Deborah, pleasure to have you in the program. I'm guessing it's a good thing that they've at least agreed to talk further. Is there anything I can look forward to, though, besides that?
Not really, actually. And in fact, the dates for the next announced talks are either unclear or fairly far away, which I think is a bit disturbing, given how fast those tariffs could be imposed by the U.S. and then counter tariffs by the Chinese. So I think it's a little disturbing that they met for 2 days and came away with essentially not much concrete action and no firm commitment to meet again in the near term. I think that's disturbing, actually.
Now, I look at some of these lists of demands from the Americans and the Chinese, and I had a guest earlier on in my radio program, Deborah, who described the proposed wish list as essentially the Americans asking China to dismantle their economy as it stands, as it presently exists. Do you think that's an accurate description?
I do. I think that it's a very difficult set of demands, notwithstanding whatever your views are on how the Chinese might retaliate, respond, whether they're actually at fault, at risk, whatever. This was a maximalist set of demands by the United States, and it essentially said to the Chinese, we do want you to fundamentally reform your economic structure. That is a non-starter inside of China. So then you say, well, how are you going to resolve this dispute? Because if one side wants fundamental reforms and the other side is not interested in fundamental reforms, how do you get to consensus? And how do you get to consensus? And I think this is a key problem in the short run, because remember, this is all taking place against a backdrop of looming economic sanctions. The U.S. side is poised to push the trigger if they choose to do so by the end of this month. That's the tough part. I mean, this is not an easy negotiation at the best of times, and now you're doing it under the threat of sanctions and counter-sanctions that could be imposed at any moment. How would you know that you've achieved victory under these very broad and sweeping decisions with no clear goalposts? I think this is a really tough one.